Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here, this is Yu-Gi Smoove. What I like to do is explain and break down my thought process, the different strategies that I'm working on. So today's deck profile is going to be on Monarch. I've always been very interested in Monarch, but I've never used them. And over the Christmas holiday, I actually went in and started using them. And man, I had so much fun. It's it's an interesting deck. Pathism is probably like one of the best cards in the deck. Literally, you can discard one Monarch, spell a trap, and then draw two, and then also you can banish it from the graveyard, show three cards, and then put one of them into your hand. Most people don't know that you can use Pathism twice, though, or I mean, you can use it as many times as you want to because the first effect isn't a once per turn. So that's pretty great. So a lot of times when you show three, and if you have Pathism, people will select it, but then you can still use it to do it again. So domain of the true Monarch is this field spell, and what that does is it actually locks the opponent out of the extra deck as long as you have a tribute summon monster. This monster I just summoned is actually the boss monster of the deck. So essentially what it does is it shuffles one card from the hand or field back into the opponent's deck, and then also it mills two cards from your deck to your graveyard. So right now they can't go into any of their XC's monsters. They can't go into the extra deck for anything. They can only utilize their monsters they have in their main deck right now, unless they get rid of my tribute summon monster or unless they get rid of my spell card, obviously. So right now in my hand I have Vampire, and I actually have a Vampire build coming up. I'm going to make another video on that, so I've been utilizing this card a lot, and I thought it was a really good tribute summon because it actually allows you to negate an effect while it's on the field as well. So I felt like it was a good tech play. So I've been utilizing that. I've been putting that in and out of the deck, just kind of seeing how it runs. A lot of these duels you'll see it in. So he goes in for his attacks, and Prime Monarch is so good. This is the trap card I was telling you about. It's a one of in the deck, and essentially what it does is that it banishes a Monarch spell or trap from the graveyard, and you can special summon it to the field. So I try to wait until the opportunity is the best, like during the battle phase when they can't really prepare for it to do it. And you see he goes into Kashtira for preparations, he gets the other thing, but essentially you can do that over and over again. It isn't banished once it comes back. So once it leaves the field, it goes back to the graveyard, you can do it again and bring it out. So it basically is it always gives you an ability to summon. So Pathism, the banish spell from the graveyard effect, is only a once per turn. The first effect isn't. So I go ahead and go into Storm front, which allows me to tribute one of their monsters. And then my field spell makes my monster 2 levels lower, so instead of it being an 8, it's a 6, so I can tribute only one monster. So I tribute their monster, and then I banish the other monster with my effect, and then I go in for the attack. So now I cleared out their field. I have 2 Call by the Graves. I don't play Imperm in this particular deck, so I use Call by the Grave almost like an Imperm at certain times. So in this, I know he's going to try to bring back one of his monsters. Even if it's banished, he can still bring it back. But my goal here was to negate his effects for not only this turn, but the next turn. So a lot of people don't play Call by the Grave like that. I mean, some people may, but that was one of the things that I try to like focus on. Like, okay, I know that I could use it against Maxi and Ash and stuff like that as well. But in this, I felt like stopping his Fenrir from being able to banish me was more important, or get more cards, especially if he couldn't get into his extra deck like he wanted to. So now he's going into trying to use his Kashtira effects, which I told you is negated. He tries to banish my field spell, which he can't, so he can't go into his extra deck again. He has to just end his turn this time. Alright, so this is a great card. Basically, it allows you to destroy itself and draw a card. And then as long as it's the only monster in extra deck, you can special summon it, which gives you basically another ability to, tribute summon. So here I actually get out my Fiend, Majesty's Fiend, which doesn't allow anyone to activate any monster effects. So now we're just, whichever monster is the biggest on the field wins type thing. So he goes into his Fenrir, but obviously he can't activate any effects because, yeah. What he should have done was attack my Fiend, but he didn't. So I guess he figured like he could banish it because he didn't read. So then hit Stormfront, and I'm going to tribute his monster to my Vampire plus my monster because I still have to tribute 2. I can't lower its level because it doesn't have 1,000 defense. It has a different defense, which is one of the things. So I was like, it doesn't play as well as I would like, so I may take it out. So I kind of took it out and put it back in. Then I go in for kill. So that was a good game. The next one is crazy though because they have like pretty much all the top meta stuff. You'll see here in a minute. So Terlaments, Mannadium, and then Scareclaw. This is a really good game. So they're going to go into a ton of stuff. And you're going to see me, obviously I have the rock in my hand. You guys see my other videos, the rock usually comes in handy. Even if it's just to slow down. I know how Terlaments is, so I knew even when I activated the rock that it was just going to slow him, but it wasn't going to stop anything. He was still going to make his moves. The only reason I was okay with that is because I had the golden balls in my hand. So, you know, I knew that anytime I have the golden ball, I would be able to get rid of 3 more monsters on my own turn as well. So that's kind of, you know, that's kind of why I was a little confident with it. I was like, okay, I know he's going to summon 5 times. I'm going to activate the rock. And then I have Path to System, which I told you guys is like the best spell card in the deck. I'm going to basically send one of my cards to the graveyard, which I have another Monarch card, and then I'm going to draw 2. So here you'll see me activate it. Typically, if I didn't have the golden ball in my hand, then I wouldn't want to activate the rock. I would wait until see if they were going to do some more stuff before activating it to clear out a little bit more and get rid of more of the resources. But in this situation, I felt like it was advantageous to go ahead and knock him out there and then hit him with the ball in the next turn because I know he's going to get 3 monsters on the field again. Because that's just how, you know, Terlaments rocks. And with the addition of Scareclaw, yeah. So he destroys my card. And he actually ends with only 3, which I was surprised with. But hey, I love it. So let me go ahead and get rid of them. Pathticism. He ashes me, which is perfectly fine. And this is why it's so fun. Watch this. So I'm going to banish Pathticism from the graveyard. I'm going to get another Monarch card in my hand. And then he gives me the same one because he doesn't understand that I can still use it again. So I go into that. I'll go into Fenrir, which Fenrir is really good in this because Kashtira Org is really good in this because it has 2,800 attack and 1,000 defense. So it literally matches up the Monarch perfectly. Just like Majesty's Fiend, 2,400 and then 1,000 attack, which matches up perfectly. That's the reason why you run it. So this card, not only is it great in the graveyard, but then it also takes 2 of your spell cards from the graveyard, puts it in the deck, and allows you to draw 1. I draw into my biggest boss in the Monarch deck. Now it's funny because I actually don't run the light version of this. And the light version would probably make this deck even crazier. It's just that I didn't want to craft it. And so I was like, you know what, let me see if I can win with just this. And I had to craft a lot of these because I spent, 2,000 gems and I didn't get these cards. Couldn't get the ultra rares I needed, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna craft them at this point. So I ended up crafting it, and I crafted 1 of these. So some people run it with 2 or 3, and I just kind of made the deck in a way that made sense. And like I said, I got a ton of wins off of it. So I went ahead and banished this card. Pathticism again allows me to select 3. I go ahead and go straight into my tribute because you can select 3 of the same thing. He knows I'm going to tribute his Predaplant, so he tries to activate his effect. And before I'm able to get it off, he just sweeps. He's like, you know what, I already know what's going to happen here. I'm done. So this one is a branded Despia Bystial player. Like I said, I want to show you guys a lot of meta type decks, a lot of decks you're going to see a lot. So, he goes into his moves. I hit max C, so he doesn't do as much as he typically would do. I was hoping that he did. No matter. So then I get the Pendulum card I told you about that you can destroy and then special summon it. And the great thing about this other card you guys see in my hand is, there we go, Mantra the Thunder, is that I actually can summon it and put a token on their side of the field. So you're like, oh, the token, is that good or bad? But basically, it's great because when you do it on turn 1 and then they can't imperm you or evenly match you because they have a card now, or they can't lightning storm you. So that kind of helps you there. The only thing that really gets me sometimes is Raigeki. Also with that Thunder card, if I tribute it, basically it allows me to have another tribute summon. So now you see he's able to evenly match me. But my Vanity's Fiend basically says no one can special summon anything. So now no one can special summon. Not me, not them. Alright, so I get rid of my Pathticism in the graveyard again. He gives me Domain's True Monarch. Perfect. So it allows me to get an 800 boost every time I declare an attack with a tributed summoned monster. But if they attack me, I don't get any boost at all, which I wish it did. I wish it gave you a boost either way. Or else I would be, I'm kind of looking at adding power of the Guardians to the deck. But I didn't. So he scoops once you realize he can't summon any of his Bystial monsters. Because you can't special summon. Now this one was kind of crazy too. So it's Scareclaw, Mannadium, and then Bystials as well. So this is actually a really good back and forth. You guys know I love back and forth. So he just went Ash Blossom. Obviously I can't do anything with that, so I'm just going to stay in the Pendulum Zone for right now. Then I go into my Thunder. Now this, you haven't seen this yet. This is crazy. Essentially it's going to allow me to destroy up to 8 cards in their extra deck. Well, not destroy, but send them to the graveyard essentially. And since they're all not summoned correctly, they can't really be used anymore. So I send 7, and it's crazy. Like his extra deck was gonna go insane, which most people's extra decks are. And I also have the Rock in my hand, so I'm pretty confident since I got rid of most of their stuff in the extra deck. Plus I have the Rock. I'm like, okay, I'm in a good position because of that. I should be all right. So he's going into his stuff. Obviously, he has a lot of moves. If he had his extra deck right now, he would probably just kill me this turn. But since I was able to do that, I was able to, really hamper his strategy because now he has to alter it, and most people can't alter when they are hit with that. So now you see that he's only able to do, get me down to about 3,900. All right. So I go ahead and destroy it. I'm able to draw another card. I'm able to special summon it, and I just go in for the attack just to get rid of one of his cards. I'll put down Call by the Grave. So right now, like I said, I still have the Rock, so I'm still a little confident because I have the Rock. He's going into, Starfrost and his combos, Mannadium. So he has one in the graveyard. Like I said, I don't run an Imperm, so I go ahead and Call by the Grave it. That way his effect on the field won't work. Alright, so he's going into it right now. My thought is I just need him to get out 5 cards. If he gets out 5 cards, I am good. 5 summons, I am good. That way I can use my Rock. So he, my wish, he came true. He goes ahead and puts out 5. I go ahead and bring out my Rock. Alright, so now I just have this big token I have to get over. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of. So now I'm able to do the same thing again, destroy it, and then I'm able to get Pathicism. So I'm like, cool, let me go ahead and bring out 2. I banish it from the graveyard. And again, he thinks Pathicism can't be used again. I'm like, no, it can. And I send the trap to the graveyard this time. So I bring the trap back out by banishing a card. And I go into a token and I just put everything in defense. I was hoping I got a tribute summon monster, but I didn't. So I was like, all right, well, let's put everything in defense and then we'll see what happens here. So he goes into the attack mode. He attacks my Rock with my token I gave him so graciously. No appreciation, I guess. And then I'm still good another turn. So I get rid of Pathicism again. I'm able to get another card. Alright, and I'm able to tribute one of his monsters. So I tribute his monster, I bring up my Fenrir, he stops my effects. But the only reason is I activate this is because he stopped my effect and I knew that I wouldn't be able to activate that later if I needed it for some reason. So I go ahead and activate it now. I go in for the attack, I get 800 boost because I'm a tribute summon monster now instead of a special summon. Alright, I get my Vampire, and this is what I was saying. I was like, sometimes I feel like I got the Vampire and I really didn't need it as much. It wasn't as effective and it didn't go with the flow. So that card is actually really good as long as you have a 28 or 1,000 defense or a 24 or 1,000 defense monster. It allows you to pick any Monarch card in your graveyard. I mean, any Monarch card in your deck and put it to your hand. So I go in basically for the kill at this point because, yeah, there's nothing you can do. And then that card plays really well. So this was I just added this just because it was such a hilarious duel to me. Like literally, I wipe out everything they have in one turn. I want you to see how the one turn is so crazy with this deck sometimes. So Finra, I bring out another one. So now I have a monster I can tribute. Now I have 2 monsters I can tribute if necessary. And then I bring out my Thunder, which allows me to put a token on his side so you can't just evenly match me next turn, or Lightning Storm or imperm me. Again, I have Path Decision, so I can use it again, draw another 2 cards. Alright, so I tribute those 2, and then I'm going to destroy my own card. And I'm able to tribute again if I had something else to tribute because of that card. So now I get rid of pretty much their entire extra deck. 8 cards out of the extra deck are gone, so they can't go into a bunch of their combos. And then I click it just so you guys can see. But yeah, they're done. Once they go and they're like, you know what, nah. Alright, so this is a good duel. This is a really good back and forth. It's a ninja duel. This isn't like a meta deck per se like the other ones were, but I just felt like this is a fun duel to do. So we go into Kashtira. Alright, I hit him with the Max C in the draw phase. I made sure I toggled it on. Excuse me. So we have him going straight into an attack because he understands he can't activate any effects or else I'll banish him. So this is where you're going to see Call by the Grave come up again later on with the play. So I use Path Decision. I put my trap card to the graveyard. I'm able to summon it, and I'm able to banish that. So I go into, he gives me Path Decision again, perfect. Alright, so now I'm able to use this again so I can draw a card. Hits with that, I don't Call by the Grave because obviously I have Ash, but also I probably wouldn't have anyway because I wanted to use my Max C on the next turn, and I know the effects would be negated. So a lot of people don't think about that when they Call by the Grave and like, well, I have a Max C now, you can't use it either. So, alright. So he activates to where he can special summon, so I go ahead and hit him with the Max C. Because somehow I got 3 Max Cs in this hand, which is insane. Alright, he turns both of my cards face down. So I tribute them, and then I go into Fenrir. Then I grab my orb because, like I said, it has 2,800 and 1,000. He goes into, and actually I'm going to do, the reason why I added this really is because I'm going to do a ninja deck profile too. Someone commented and said they wanted to see that, so I want to do one. And plus it's a structure deck, so everybody's easily accessible, so I definitely want to get it. Alright, so I go in, I know that he's going to activate his effect, but I'm just like, you know what, let's just go ahead and get this effect. Activate it and move it. Alright, so he destroys my my domain. Here, he's able to do a fusion monster. So what I think is, alright, let me get rid of his best fusion monster because I know that's the best fusion monster in Ninja deck because it has a lot of utility. So that way when he does summon it at any point next turn, it won't be able to be used. So he brings out another one, which I wasn't aware of this one at all because like I said, I haven't played the deck yet. But I knew the other one was the main one. So I was like, let me get rid of that. So next turn, if he does bring it out, that'd be good. Then he banishes my my pendulum, and he turns my card face down. So then I hit the rock to go ahead and get rid of it because I know my card's face down now too, so I have a little protection there. And I give him a token for his cooperation, and I end my turn. So I have the golden ball in my hand. I have the card that allows me to tribute one of the monsters. I just max seed and draw phase again. So I'm feeling pretty good at this point. I don't feel like it's completely out of control or anything like that. I feel like we're still in a good position, although I don't have the best board. So, you know, I just hit him with Max C, so he's going into his moves. I can't wait to use his ninja deck too. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, so I can't wait to use it and see how many wins I can get. So he destroys my my big rock. So now I'm just thinking like, okay, as long as you can't OTK me, I'll be alright. So he brings out his Battle Ninja, which if you remember his effects are negated, so he can't do anything, which is fantastic. Alright, so he goes in for the attack. So now you see my hand. I have a pretty good hand. You know, I'm able to tribute 3 monsters. I was going to tribute face down, but I thought about like how was I going to deal with that big token. Obviously, I could have just tributed it, but also dealing with the other ones, because with the with the golden ball, you only get, you know, that one normal summon, so it kind of stops it. Now the thunder does give you does allow you another summon, but you have to tribute it before you get another summon. So I just go into that. I think that's the best play for right now. Put down the trap. He hits him with the big rock of his own, which is respectable. So he gives me a big token now. And then I go ahead and bring out my trap card a little early. Generally, I only like to bring it out during the battle phase, so you know, it is what it is. What I could have done is just waited. But the beautiful thing about it is that I can just keep bringing it back every single time. So you know, I could have just done that once and saved, obviously, a turn. This card was a card that I brought into the deck and I took out. I kind of went back and forth with it. Once I realized he didn't have 3 monsters on the field, he probably wasn't going to get 3 monsters. That's when I went ahead and discarded that, or else I would have kept that golden ball in my hand forever. And so now we're going to hit Monarch Stormfront. I'm going to actually destroy his card because it's a light monster and it's a level 11. So that allows me to banish or send 11 cards from his extra deck to the graveyard, which is insane. And then he just scoops. He's like, yeah, I had enough of this. Monarchs are too much. Alright, so this is a really good duel. This is one that I actually only had 800 life points left, and had he had another Red Eyes monster in his deck, I would have been gone. He would have won the duel. So I somehow got another turn, and when I got that turn, I maximized it. So we hit him Harpy's Feather Duster first. Let's go ahead and get rid of everything on there and get him to activate anything he wants to activate. I hit the Thunder move. I go ahead and tribute it off. I go to my Majesty's Fiend, and then I attack. I have a Maxi in my hand, but I can't use it now because of my own card. So now we are, you know, we're just watching, waiting to see what's going to happen here. So this is a turn, like I said, I'm going to end with about 800 life points after he does everything he does here. So he's going into it. He's excited, I'm sure. He's like, oh, he thinks he stopped me because I can't use monster effects. And that's why the best tandem is with Majesty's Fiend plus Vanity's Fiend. So he returns me to the hand. In fact, so now, you know, I'm able to use my Max C, which is great because he doesn't have anything that can negate it right now. So he goes into Striker Dragon. Obviously, you know, that's going to be a play for his Red Eyes Darkness Metal. When he banishes that, goes into that, he's able to special summon one Red Eyes monster. So he brings the Red Eyes out. And then I activate my first Monarch, which, like I said, I try to activate during the battle phase when it's more unexpected. And then he goes ahead and puts his card back in the deck. So that was the first time I kind of saved myself. So I was like, alright, I'm good. I am good. So now I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen here. I'm like, alright, he's still going into different things. Let's see what he does. So he gets Predator Plant out, and immediately my mind goes to, oh yeah, he has that Meteor. But fortunately, for him to use his Red Eyes Fusion, he has to use one of his Red Eyes monsters, and that was the last Red Eyes monster in his deck. Or else he would have just killed me right here. And I think he forgot that as well. So he gave me another turn. When he gave me that extra turn, that was the last turn he was going to have. So I go into Fenrir immediately. I go ahead and use my Monarch card so I can grab my Pathicism. Send a card to the graveyard so I can draw 2. I destroy itself so I can draw another one. You guys have seen these combos, but I get my field spell out, I use it again, throw my trap in there, I tribute 3 of their monsters. He goes ahead and tries to bring out his monster, which would have also done damage to me. So I go ahead and call by the grave that particular monster. And then I banish his Faithful Adventure. I banish that card so I can get another one. Oh, this is the first time you guys are seeing escalation, so it's really good. I'm able to tribute a monster on their side, but it was just, it didn't come up enough for me in certain duels, so I kind of took it out, put it in. And then I just, honestly, I stopped my turn here because obviously I can't attack the ball. I had to wait for the golden ball to come back. I hit max C during my, my turn, and then I hit this because it allows me to tribute a monster on his turn. So now I'm set up, I'm ready for whatever he's going to do. And then he scoops. So that was a great duel, man. I had a lot of fun using Monarchs. I don't know if you guys have used Monarchs, if you're fans of Monarchs, but if you're watching the video, I kind of assume you are. This is a deck profile. Like I said, I changed it a few times. You'll see the Vampire in some duels. Definitely try it out, see what you think. You'll see, what is it? You see those 2 traps in there that I showed you earlier. In this, you may not see it. I actually added the equip spell, Monarch equip spell, to try to see if that's a little quicker, if it's a little faster, just kind of see how that runs as well. But then I ended up going back to the trap. But this is the deck profile for the most part, and the ultra rares that I feel like you actually need. I feel like you need those 2 Fenris. I do feel like you need that for this deck to be viable. Let me see what else. Ultra rares. Like I said, I only have 1 ultra rare Monarch. I didn't get the other one because, like I said, I wasn't going to go through and craft it. It was a lot. So, and then I crafted 1 domain. I actually had 1 of the build spells already, so I just crafted 1. But, and then obviously some super rares. And the super rares you need. It's not, it's really an optional if you want to run a Monarch deck. Other than that, man, I enjoyed it. If you like this video, please comment below, subscribe. Thank you again for tuning in.